Welcome to the Darlie Routier War Room. Looks like we have another rescue. Let's try to rescue this gentleman. Seems like a nice guy. Probably Scottish, the way he uses the word lad. I'm not sure. But first, let's hear how he's introduced by our buddy Sully.
New friend that has started doing the Darlie Routier case. And so you can get his perspective, not only from somebody that's not American, but somebody that's going to read the story and tell you their opinions from their side. So go check out my friend HorrorLad, and he will be doing a full series on the Darlie Routier case, so make sure you pick him up and go follow him for all of my free Darlie people out there. You guys have an awesome Monday. Happy Halloween, and I will be back with you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, you notice how she introduces him because he's going to start a series on the Darlie Routier case. She wants to introduce him. He's from another country. It's her new friend because he's going to start a series on Darlie Routier. Let's promote his page. He's on TikTok at HorrorLadOfficial. He's got a free Darlie behind him there, a little scream there, which is fine. Seems like a really nice guy. I mean, he's not any threat to me or any of us.
True crime fans, stop scrolling just for 1 second. I want to talk about a case that's haunted me ever since 2001. It is the Darlie Routier case.
Ever since 2001, he's been haunted by this case. Haunted. You got to listen closely to the way people talk. Haunted. That means it bothers him. He's frightened of it. So let's listen.
This is just going to be a little overview video of it. I want to go into a deeper dive in future videos, but yeah, I'm going to give you the rundown on this case.
So far, he hasn't done a deep dive, and you'll be able to tell why here in just a second. But he said 2001.
For now. In the early hours of June the 6th, 1996, in Rowlett, Texas, a husband, Darren Routier, lays asleep upstairs with baby Drake and doting and loving mother, Darlie Routier.
Doting and loving mother. He's already... You know where this is going already.
Lay asleep downstairs with her two older sons, Devin.
But there's no way she could sleep through that, right?
David, as for like a camp out. What would unfold would be a horrific crime scene, leaving both of her older sons downstairs brutally unalived. I didn't say it, I said unalived. And Darlie herself would be attacked with a sharp weapon that ran across the right side of her throat.
Since 2001. Things that make you go, Let's put that back over here just a little bit.
The right side of her throat.
Strike one. But I'm not picking at this guy. I'm picking at what he's saying. There's a big difference. I'm not going after this guy. I'm going after what he's saying. He's already gave misinformation, and we're at 49 seconds in. And Sully's promoted him. Sully didn't have enough to say. Gotta say it was from the left side.
2 millimeters from her carotid artery. She sustained other knife wounds as well. Darlie claimed that she saw an intruder and escaped the utility room and through a cut screen in the garage. Garage. I'm not used to talking on camera. From the moment of Darlie's disturbing 911 call, the state of Texas very quickly turned against Darlie, pointing the finger at her. A respected crime scene consultant named James Cron, who we're going to call James Sherlock Holmes Cron.
Here's where we start off on the insulting of the crime scene investigators. Cron felt like there was no intruder in that house, and to this day we don't have any substantial proof of an intruder in that house. He had studied scenes with 4,000 bodies before he got there. He didn't, 20, 30 minutes in, he felt like there was no intruder. And to this day, can you tell us who that intruder is or give us any evidence of one? Rest in peace, Sherlock Holmes.
Would be called around 6 a.m. to do a walkthrough of the crime scene. Within 20 to 30 minutes, he would unfairly condemn Darlie.
He did not unfairly condemn Darlie. That's a myth. In fact, Darren was the first suspect, and you can hear that from the family on the Leeson Gibbons show. Darren was the first suspect. They took him and they photographed him nude, but his story has always remained consistent. Darlie's is ever changing.
And made up his mind that someone from the inside of the house committed the unalivings without any other.
So he backtracked. He said he condemned Darlie right away, but he made up his mind and decided it was someone in the house. And it was. It was someone from in that house.
Investigation and any other analysis of any evidence. 12 days after her son's death, she was arrested and to be tried for the murder of Damon, the younger of the two. The reason for this was because Damon was under 6 and she could be tried for capital punishment. And if proven innocent, she could then be tried again for Devon's unaliving.
He's absolutely correct. And besides, it saves the taxpayers money. But we all know that Greg Davis's opening statement made it perfectly clear that the crime was about Devon and Damon. Even Darlie says it was always about Devon and Damon. Darlie says that on Death Row, I believe.
The state loaded a double-barreled pew-pew against her, if you will. Any evidence that presented that there was an intruder was overlooked.
What evidence is this that was presented that there was an intruder that was overlooked? I'm going after the misinformation, not this gentleman here.
But petty things against her character would be brought up by Darlie's prosecution attorney, Greg Davis. Davis would have a pop at her for pretty much anything being material.
Because that's his job. 22 convictions. Death row convictions.
Realistic, ridicule her for her breast augmentation, going out with her girlfriends.
He didn't ridicule her for her breast augmentation. As a matter of fact, you can look on the Darlie Routier War Room on Facebook, and you can see a statement that was left by Robert Hawley, who used to be a jailer there in Kerrville, about her breasts.
Before Mother's Day and not taking her kids to church.
She went out on Mother's Day, that's for sure. She went to see Chippendales, which is what they always do. But what he's leaving out here is that she left her sons with a man who molested her from beginning age 8 on. It's also in the trial transcripts. That's not very motherly. If he molested her, then why would you leave your young sons with him? Greg Davis didn't elaborate on that during the trial. As a matter of fact, there's only a small portion of the trial that focused on Dennis Stahl, who is Danelle's father, not Darlie's, who had molested her. And it was on Darlie's mind all the way up until just a few weeks before the murders, because she wrote about it.
Church often. What would be the final nail in the coffin would be a week or so after the unalivings, a video of Darlie would be shown in the court of her chewing gum and spraying silly string.
So he's wrong. The video was shown on national TV. KXAS, Joe Munoz, is the one who put it out there after KXAS wanted to get an interview with her. And she, her family said, sure, as long as you pay for the flight of my family from Altoona, Pennsylvania, into the thing, then I'll give you that interview. What's in it for me? Right off the rip, 8 days. Now.
Over both of her sons' graves. However, the video of Darlie and her family beforehand at the funeral of them crying and appropriately mourning.
Let's ask this gentleman, has he ever seen that? He's talking about the 14-hour surveillance video that was put out by Chris Frosch and Jimmy Patterson in an urn by the gravesite in hopes of getting a confession or something like that. 14 hours long. It's never been shown to the public. 30 seconds we get of just Darlie sitting down. And the reason, why wasn't it shown in court? See, he needs to understand this. Why wasn't it shown in court? Well, if you look at testimony, you can see Doug Mulder, Greg Davis told him, go ahead, put it in. And Doug Mulder, the defense, decided not to because it does not show what he's saying right here. There's no evidence of it. Darlie Key claims to have this video. It's never been. I'd like to see it. If, Darlie falling on the ground and grieving appropriately, I'd like to see it.
Would not be shown in court.
It wasn't shown in court by the matter of the defense. Greg Davis had no objection to it being shown. It was the defense that chose not to put it in there. Doug Mulder said it didn't have anything. There was no substance. That's why he didn't show it. It's 14 hours long.
What they did not know was the facts. So number one is that on the 14th of June, about a week after the unalivings, it was Devon's 7th birthday. So the family...
The prosecutors knew that.
Decided to try and put on a brave face and celebrate just like the two boys would have wanted. Darlie would also be seen chewing gum and saying spraying silly string, and basically she would be ridiculed for that as well, as how could her mother have just lost both of her kids and be celebrating and dancing on the graves, as the guilty supporters would have you think. But the silly string idea actually wasn't hers, it was her sister Dana's.
Yeah, it was Dana's. It was the sister that brought it, but it was Darlie's fingers that you see on it, smiling, dancing around, having a good time. She did not look like the grieving mother.
Devon, I think both the boys, I think they love silly string, and that was a homage to them. Also, you got to imagine that she's just been through a massive catastrophic event where
she's smiling. And during the graveside interview, which you can see on my channel, BryanSt.John on YouTube, you can see the original graveside video when she's standing next to the graves of her two kids that were just murdered 8 days ago. And she says, well, gossip is the most evil thing in the world.
Her mind, her headspace is all over the place. So you do see her smiling and laughing and celebrating. And obviously this didn't help her case originally.
And you got to watch that silly string video. There's a part in it where you can see Darren. As soon as she starts spraying that string, she's smiling, laughing, got it stringing. Darren's got his hands in his pockets. He looks over her, does a double take, and takes a step back. If anybody knows how to read body language, he definitely was taken aback by her doing that. Take a look at it.
But my personal opinion, everyone grieves differently, and like I said in court, they didn't show the bit beforehand.
Like I said in court, they didn't show the bit beforehand because the defense didn't want them to. That's right in. I hope this guy reads the transcripts. Says he hasn't read them yet.
In February of '97, Darlie was eventually convicted, wrongfully convicted, but convicted nonetheless, and she has been on death row for the last 28 years. She's always maintained her innocence. I personally believe she is innocent. When you go into this case, it opens up so many questions, and there is no smoking gun, and I do not believe that.
If you're going to do a deep dive, you might want to start with getting the correct, where the throat slash came from. You might want to read the trial transcripts, which he says he hasn't gotten into them yet.
She should be on death row. Since 1996, DNA has come a long way, so there's new evidence.
Yeah, the DNA has come a long way, and at this point, Darlie, as a Texas death row inmate, has been given more DNA testing than any other death row inmate in Texas, and it always points back to her.
Evidence being tested, so this will hopefully prove her innocence and get her exonerated. I want to go into more videos on this case. This was just like an overview video, but I'm going to go into lots of other things. If you've heard of this case, if you have an opinion on it, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments. Please keep it respectful. Let me know what you think. Do you think she is innocent, or do you think?
I do encourage people that if they go to his page, let's be respectful with him. Let's not be bashing. Let's show him that he's mistaken. That's what's important to the supporters of the Texas justice system who believe that her conviction was not wrongful. We want to show these people where they're not wrongful. In this video, he hasn't shown anything yet. I'm interested to see what he's going to do next. If you watch general documentaries on her, they are mostly pro-guilt because that's mostly what it is. But there's some good content out there that debunks myths and shows that she is innocent. Check out Mystery Maverick. Well, we know who Mystery Maverick is. Waddell was asleep in his cruiser. And check out Kitchen Table Research, who couldn't even get Devin and Damon's names right at first. And Darlie's baby sister Danelle is also on here at Fugate, 1982. Please check out these guys for accurate account of this, accurate content. Well, it's not accurate at all. She tried to change the word superficial and tell me that it didn't mean just a minor above the skin cut. And she's a nurse. But he doesn't know all this stuff. Look over here. HorrorLadOfficial. Go over there and post your respectful comments to him. I have already. I like to rescue people. Let's give this gentleman a fair chance. And, go see HorrorLadOfficial. Let's get him some views over there. Let's see what he's got to say. I'm going to look at some of his other content. But he started off right off the rip within 45 seconds of getting something wrong. And he's being led by people who get things wrong. Kitchen Table Research is a fangirl. Oh, I know Darlie. I know her. You don't know somebody by sending a few texts. I've wrote to Darlie too. I don't know her. But let's give him a shot. Agree, Darlie. Hell yeah, I should tag the prosecution. Well, Toby Shook is a defense attorney in Dallas now. You go ahead, tag him. He'll tell you exactly what he thinks. Greg Davis is retired. So go ahead and tag him.
A case that's haunted me ever since 2001 is
Ever since 2001, it's haunted him.
True crime fans, stop scrolling just for 1 second. I want to talk about a case that's haunted me ever.
Well, and you can tell by who's up under there. You notice these people don't come to my channel because they're scared. But maybe this guy, we could save him, rescue him. I got rescued by Pam Collins and Christine Fogger and Mary Moody and some of the other ones that actually knew the truth when I was feeling just like this guy here. Check it out.